Guys, I'm so excited about today's topic. I think it's super, super important. I think it's literally one of the most important things you will do in your life. What am I talking about? I'm talking about discovering your God-given calling, the special and unique calling that's on your life, your mission, the thing that you were put on this earth to do. We can go into the details of what a calling and a purpose looks like. There's a lot of nuances, right? But last week we talked about how this applies to your vocational life, right? Your career, your business, and all those things. One of the things that I talked about was that I have seen so many people that are walking in their God-given calling and purpose, and they're in a corporate career, and that can very much be the case. I've also seen people that are very successful with their business. They started their own business, and you can tell it's very crystal clear to anyone that's around that they are walking in their God-given calling. While on the flip side, there's also people that have extremely coveted careers, that maybe they're famous, they're very well known, or they have a really successful business that they launched and they created, but they are very unfulfilled. They are not walking in their God-given calling, right? So I think it can go both ways, and it can be flip side, right? The important thing is that when you are walking your God-given calling, you feel fulfilled and you feel happy. And I'm going to go into all the details in just a second. But today's episode, I'm really excited because we're going to be going over the 6 signs that you are walking or not walking in your God-given calling. Now let's get into it. Number 1 is that you have prayed and you have asked God for direction, right? This is foundational. I don't want to sound too preachy, of course, but I have to be completely honest with you, because if not, I'm doing you a disservice if I'm not being completely blunt and completely straightforward with you, because believe me, I have spent years on this topic. It's the cry of my heart. I absolutely love helping people discover their purpose, their calling. I feel like it's been something that I've gone through, and I'm still kind of walking through in a sense. And it has been just something that I feel like is part of my life's work. And so I am very passionate about this topic. And so I have researched this a lot. I have gone through all the things, and I just have to be honest with you. This is what I've discovered, right? I believe that this is truly, truly foundational. It's like if you don't ask God for direction for your God-given calling and what you were put on this earth to do, what you should do with your career and your business and all those things, it's kind of like you're building your career, your business, all those things on sand. It's like you're building a house of cards. It could fall at any time. It may or may not work. You may not feel fulfilled. There's so many different things that we're going to get into, right? But I really, like I said, I have to be straightforward with you, because if not, I'm doing you a disservice, right? Like I've mentioned, there's a lot of wealthy people that I've seen. There's a lot of successful people that I've seen. There's so many different people in different walks of life that I've seen, and they are just they're not fulfilled, right? Even though on the outside you would think they would be, they aren't, right? So I think this is crucial. And, I know that this is true, that we need to seek God first for the foundation and figure out the direction and ask him. So if you haven't done that, that's step 1, right? But why? Because some examples are Jeremiah 1:5 says, "Before I formed you in the womb, I knew you. Before you were born, I set you apart." So it's very clear that you came to this earth on a mission for a special purpose. There was a reason that you were placed in your family, in your community, in the year you were born. All the things, your ethnicity, all those things are unique to you, and they're on purpose, right? So meaning that, there's a special purpose on your life. It just this sheer chance that you were born. A lot of times we like to think, oh, like, maybe I don't have a purpose. Maybe there's no meaning. I know I've been there. I've felt that before. But when I found out the statistics that there's really just a 1 in a 400 trillion chance that you would be born. Yeah, you. That I know, not to be too blunt or too in your face, but the fact that the egg and the sperm met and you were created of all people, there's a 1 in 400 trillion chance of that happening. That means that there's a unique purpose on your life. The fact that your body is working today, that you woke up, that there's air in your lungs, all the things, this proves that you're supposed to still be here on this earth, that there is a unique calling and a unique purpose on your life. So I think that that's number 1. If you don't know that, receive that in your heart, that there's something special and unique about you that the world needs to see, right? There's a reason that all those things, like I said, there's a unique gifting on your life. Your talents, your passions, your experiences, the things that break your heart, the things that really motivate you and get you upset, all these things work together for the calling that's on your life, right? So there's no mistake here. And if we were so now that we've said that, we were creatures and we were created by a creator, right? So wouldn't it make sense to go to the person, like if you have a toy and it's broken, or you want to figure out how to use a toy. Maybe your child just got a toy for Christmas or for a holiday or for their birthday. And you're like, how do I build this thing? Does it need batteries? All the things. Well, you go to the toy manual, you go to the instruction, right? Because the manufacturer that created that toy is going to know how to use that toy properly, right? If you, just receive this thing, you're not going to know how to manage this thing. And I think that's so often how we look in life. Like, we don't know ourselves as much as God knows us. We don't know the special giftings, the talents, the things that he can birth inside of us and use us for. And I think that that's so important that we go to the creator or the manufacturer, if you will, and ask for the manual. Ask, like, what am I created to do? So that's step one. If you have done that already, then you might be walking in your God-given calling. If you have not, I really highly recommend that you go back to that step. Just pray about it. Ask God, God, show me what my unique God-given calling is, the unique God-given calling and purpose that's on my life. What do you want me to do, like with my career, with my talents, with all the things that I will feel fulfilled and be walking your calling? Because I can go into the benefits. I think I went into that a little bit last week, but there's so many benefits there. If you are not walking in your God-given calling, you're never going to feel really fulfilled. That's the truth. That's what I've found, that you're really not going to feel so super fulfilled in life, right? So this is crucial and essential. And if you haven't done it, go back to that step. Number two, another sign is that you are walking your God-given calling is that you are excited to jump out of bed in the morning. You have motivation, right? So this one is a big one. I've had so many seasons, guys, so many seasons where I have dreaded going to work in the morning, where I have dreaded getting up. In retrospect, that should have been a huge red flag that I was not walking in my calling, right? But I've had roles and jobs and that I was miserable in, that I did not want to face Monday, right? I dreaded it. And there's specifically one that I can remember that comes to mind when I talk about this topic. And that is, I remember after I worked in national news, and those doors closed for me. And if you're interested in hearing the backstory behind that, go to episode number 1 on the podcast. Go to Apple Podcasts or Spotify. You can go to episode number 1 on the audio podcast, and you can see, you can hear the details of that story of that door closing on me and what ultimately led to this podcast. But I remember after that door closed, I remember that I went into PR. I went into public relations. Why? Because people had always said, man, you are so social. You know a lot of people. You're good at connecting people. You are, great at all these things that, are basically the skill set of someone that would work in public relations. And I remember I was like, yeah, I think I could go into it. I think I could do well. If I did good in TV, I can do good in this. And I remember as I got into this role at a small boutique public relations agency here in Miami that worked a lot. Primarily the clients were like high-end real estate realtors, not realtors, I'm sorry, real estate developers, right? That were building the skyline of Miami. And I remember I got into that role. And let me tell you, from the minute that I took that job to the minute that I walked into that office, I dreaded it. I hated it. Every single day that I was there, I hated it. I dragged my feet. I felt super anxious. I could not get out of bed in the morning because I just felt overwhelmed by just like this, I don't know, lack of motivation, grief, I guess you can call it. I just did not want to be there. And then I realized, yes, I'm good at connecting people. I'm good at all these things. But then the way that I had to write for that role, the press releases, everything that entailed, I did not feel like I could use my creative talents in that role. Even though I had all the skill sets on paper that you would need for that role, I hated it. I dreaded it. I dreaded it so much so that I remember I would be so anxious every single day that I was driving to work. I would be blasting worship music just to give me the encouragement and the strength to walk into that office and be there. And not only that, I remember that on Friday evenings, I would be so stressed out, so anxious from the week that I was really a shell of myself. I remember my husband would be trying in a good mood on Friday nights, and I would just be a shell of myself. I was not happy. I was not motivated. I remember I would not be myself until maybe Saturday afternoon, and then, have a great Saturday night. And then Sunday morning I would go to church and everything would be good. And as soon as service was over and we were driving home, on a Sunday afternoon, I remember the dread would set in of Monday, that Monday was coming up, that I was going to have to go back to this role. And, again, I did not have motivation. I was dreading, I hated getting up in the morning. That is a huge red flag that you are not walking in your calling and your purpose. Why? Because now I can attest, now any given day, I am excited to get out of bed. I am, excited to get to it. I am excited on Monday. I'm excited on Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, every single day of the week. I'm excited on the weekends. I'm excited on the holidays. I'm excited. I'm excited all the time. I don't dread Mondays anymore. Mondays are not like Monday blues. I don't feel that anymore. Yes, I can be tired on a Monday. Yes, but I don't have those Monday blues anymore. I don't dread it anymore. So I have a lot of motivation, and that is one of the signs, right? So that is number 2. You're excited to get out of bed in the morning. You're motivated. Number 3 is you have peace. There's no internal clock going off. This one is also huge. I've seen it in so many iterations in my life. It's kind of like, I believe it's the Holy Spirit redirecting my steps and saying, no, don't go that way. Go this way, or go this way, this role or not that role. And, one moment that I remember this clearly was the role actually right after the PR role that I was in. I remember I got into the magazine world. I was in a marketing job at the time. And I remember, it was really easy. It was a 9 to 5, very flexible. It was actually an answered prayer in that season. I needed that to de-stress from the root role that I had been in previously. And I remember that it was God's grace and God's sovereignty that I was in that role. Why? Because I didn't know it at the time, but a few months after I took that role, my mother-in-law got sick with cancer, and she ended up passing away 6 months later. And my husband was a primary caretaker. And so I was able to be there for him and for her in that season because I was in this role. So I am not knocking. God will put you in different roles in different seasons. That doesn't mean you're not walking in your calling. That's not what I'm trying to say, but I'll get into that in a minute, but I know that for that season, that's the role that I needed. That's God's sovereignty, God's goodness in my life, and putting me in that role that, yes, I could pay the bills, I could do the things. Was it the most interesting, all the things? No, but it was what I needed. He knew what I needed in that season. And I believe the same is true for all of us on our journey. Sometimes we're not going to be walking in that just yet, but God knows what roles we need and what seasons, right? And that being said, I remember before my mother-in-law got sick, I remember my husband would encourage me and he would say, oh my gosh, what a cool new industry. I remember my bosses loved me. They wanted me to grow in the company. And my husband would encourage me, like, why don't you grow in this industry? Why don't you forget about news, forget about TV, forget about all those things and grow in this thing. And I remember that it sounded good. It looked good. People liked me there, all the things. But then I remember I would get this internal clock going, ring, ring, ring. Not this way. It's like there was this like little alarm. That's the best way that I can describe it, going ring, 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 detour, turn back around, reroute. That's how I felt, right? And I remember this was also the case because there were other moments where he would be like, why don't you go into real estate? Why don't you go into this? Why don't you go into, like, there's so many things that he saw in the natural that my gifts could be used for. But whenever I would think about it, I just would not have peace, right? There was something going off inside of me that's like I didn't feel like a yes. It wasn't like a yes immediately, right? And so I think that that's so often also something to be noted is that I think there's a lot of times where even though you are walking in the right area or the right direction, there's times where that alarm can still go off regardless, right? Saying it's time to make a change. I went through this recently when I was just a few months ago, right? Just a few months ago, I was walking in this season where all of a sudden things started feeling kind of mundane. I started feeling kind of like I wasn't adding a lot of value for you guys, to be quite honest. And I just felt like there was something inside of me going like, reroute. There's something you need to do. And I felt lost. And I remember that I even did an episode maybe a month ago about it, a month and a half ago. And I was like, I'm going to see God about this and I'm going to ask him what the direction is. And I really felt like one of the things he told me was like, you need to start creating a community. You need to start making more impact and help these listeners, the people in your community, the women in your community more. And that's what led to the calls that I'm doing actually this month, right? The September accountability calls, right? As a reminder, it's really my heart to encourage you. It's really my heart to help you figure out your purpose, your calling, and help you thrive in that as you start taking steps in the right direction. And that's what these calls are going to be for, right? We're actually this is actually your last chance. So if you're watching this episode right now before September 24th, you can still join us for the call. It's the last week that you can sign up for this. It's going to be a great call. It's a free Zoom call. And what I'm doing is just an accountability call. It's a free Zoom call that I'm doing this month, where I'm really going to be, you're going to be encouraged, you're going to be uplifted, you're going to meet other like-minded women, you are going to be coached, you are going to get to share what's on your heart, what God has been speaking to you, what maybe you don't know, maybe you feel lost, maybe you don't know what your purpose is, but you can still come to this call, you can still listen, you can still be a part. It's great to be in community, and that's really what God stirred my heart. Like, you need to, that I need to be creating a community and fostering that more. And so I'm just walking in obedience, and that's what I'm doing. So as a reminder, if you want to join this call, it's happening on Wednesday, September 24th at 1 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. I would love for you to join. Again, all you have to do is go to the show notes in this episode, click on the survey there. It's a 2-minute survey. Fill that out. Once you fill that out, then I will send you the invites to the Zoom call, and I would love to see you there. I think it's going to be encouraging. No matter what, you will leave the call encouraged. So please, 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 if you have it on your heart, if something's jumping up inside of you, if you feel seen in this episode, please join us. There's a reason why you are here and listening to this right now. So that is number 3. You have peace and no internal clock is going off, right? Another sign that you could be walking in your purpose is that you feel fulfilled and you have developed resilience, right? This is a big one, right? Because sometimes you can be working in an industry that you love and you feel great, but then all of a sudden something happens, or maybe as the time goes on, you don't feel fulfilled, right? That's what happened to me when I was in national news. I was like, I loved it. I loved working in TV. I loved working in national news, and it was so great. But after a few years, there got to be a moment where it's like, I don't feel fulfilled anymore. I don't feel like this is it anymore. And I felt like that was maybe God rerouting me. But also it's that I wasn't fully walking at that point. It's like, it's time to go to the next step, right? It's time to start walking in your calling, right? Because when you're walking, when you feel fulfilled, when you feel, you won't feel like you're missing anything. If you launch that business and you feel fulfilled, you're going to be excited, you're going to be motivated, you're going to get out of bed every day. You're going to feel like there's something great that you are giving. But when you are, you can have a great job, you can have a good business too, but you won't feel fulfilled. You won't have that peace. You won't have that joy. You won't feel like, you'll always feel like something's missing. Does that make sense? So you will and the thing about resilience too is like, if you feel fulfilled and you are feeling like you are walking, I feel fulfilled. I don't feel like anything's missing. I feel like I'm on the right route. I feel like I'm going in the right direction. You get excited, you get motivated, but also you develop resilience because mundane moments will come, whether you're working in your calling, walking in your calling, or you're not. Mundane moments happen to all of us. There's always going to be a boring Tuesday, a boring Wednesday, tedious tasks that you got to do, whether you're building your career or building your business. That happens. That's part of life, right? But you'll develop the resilience when you are walking in your calling. It's okay. You can deal with that mundane stuff. You can push through no matter how hard it is, no matter if you have to figure out cameras, you have to figure out complex things, you have to figure out email flows, you have to, interview, you have to do manage a team, whatever that looks like, whatever that hard thing is in front of you, you'll figure it out if you're walking in your calling, right? Because you will have the resilience and the grit to push through. When you're not walking in your calling, you're going to give up. You're going to feel like, what's the point of this? Like, you're not going to have that driving, that motivation. It's not going to be the same, right? So that's really important that number 3 is you feel fulfilled and you develop resilience. Number 4, it's a unique fit, right? It uses your natural gifts, your talents, your passion in a way that feels made for you. It fits like a glove. Have you ever been in winter and you put on a leather glove and it fits exactly, like it stops right here? It's exactly fits like it was made for your hand, right? That's how walking in your unique God-given calling is like, right? Everything, your life experiences, the things you've gone through, the challenges you've gone through, the things that have been really hard in your life, the things that have been great, the things that are easy for you, the things that you naturally are gifted at. Like, for example, talking. I have always been a talker. Since school, I would get in trouble because I talk too much. I can talk to anyone about anything, about any topic forever. I'm a natural talker. And I believe that God's using that as part of my God-given calling, right? And so this is this combines when it's your unique God-given calling that you're walking it. It takes your natural talents, your gifts, your passions, the things that make you come alive, the things that upset you. Maybe it's activism. Maybe it's like you need to speak up for the things in this world that you don't agree with, the injustices that you see, the things that you see wrong. Maybe that's why you were made the way that you were created, right? To be articulate and to speak in a way that is important. Or maybe you are the best person at administration and you can be better at creating a system for a business, and you can just walk in and see the problem, and it's like, this is something that you've naturally done your whole life. Maybe you did it in school, maybe you do it in your household as a mom, but you can also use it for businesses and help people because that's the way your mind works. That's a natural thing that's within you, right? It's going to be a unique fit that's unique to you, right? It's not unique to me and the thing is, what's crazy about this is that when you are not walking in your God-given calling, it's not going to be, and if it's clear that it's not a unique fit to you. It's like when you put on a suit and it doesn't fit you because it's like the suit's too big or it's too tight or you're taller, you're smaller, all the things. That's how walking your God-given calling is not, right? So if you are walking your God-given calling, it's going to be a unique fit to you. It's going to be like a custom tailored suit. But when you're not walking in your God-given calling, it's going to be like you're going to try this one business and it's like that's not really good for you. It's going to drain you. It's going to make you feel depleted. It's not going to encourage you and uplift you or maybe people are not going to buy from you. They're not going to support this business. It's going to be a struggle because that's not the thing that you're supposed to be in. That's not your God-given calling, right? And so the same thing as like, I've been there and I've tried it. I've tried to do this model because maybe this person said, do this business model or this because someone else said to do this or it's so often I think in life we can try on all the things. It's almost like throwing spaghetti at the wall. But if you are not created for that thing, it's not going to be the right fit and you're going to know it, right? So when you are walking your God-given calling, it is going to be a unique fit that beautifully puts together all these different parts of you in a beautiful way. And it's going to be evident. People are going to see it and be like, wow, she's walking in her God-given calling. They're going to admire it. It's going to be a blessing. Like I'm going to go into the next thing, but it's a unique fit to you. Number 5 is fruitfulness. The work produces good fruit, right? So change lives, growth, healing, or impact that honors God. You'll see doors open and things happen almost organically. You'll start seeing things, things pop up, divine appointments, divine encounters, the right person speaking into this area. You'll put on an event and the people will come or you'll do this and you'll just see fruitfulness and multiplication in all areas. You'll see that you are blessing a lot of people. It'll just feel like there's fruitfulness everywhere. There is fruitfulness there because you are walking your God-given calling, right? So often we can try to be making something like happen when it's not supposed to happen and we won't see fruitfulness there because we are not walking in the God-given calling that we have on our lives, right? So fruitfulness, the organicness of it. Have you ever heard those stories where they interview someone that just launched a business? Maybe it's artisanal soap or something healthy or for example, I know this a couple that they have basically like it's like a farmer's market where they source the meat from, they know the farmers, they know the eggs that they source it from, they have like the raw milk, all the things. The thing has blown up. They have influencers with millions and millions of people just showing up at their place and just putting them on the map. And it's just the grace of God. And it's beautiful to see them walking out in that because you can tell, and believe me, I know because our kids go to school together and we've exchanged lunch boxes and I can see that maybe the way that they eat is actually the way that they live, right? So the things that they're preaching on, through their business, the business that they create, it's just the life that they live. And it's a beautiful organic overflow because that's the real life that they're really walking in their calling. And look, the doors are opening. Influencers with millions of followers are coming and putting them, like I said, on the map, and the business is growing and people are coming and more people are hearing about it and coming and like all the things. And it's just beautiful to see that, right? You just see fruitfulness, right? Another number 6 is your mission is bigger than you, right? So friend, this is the truth. If your goal is to be rich, for you and your family to be rich, that's not big enough. If your goal is to have 1 million followers on Instagram or make it to this one coveted role or title within your company, or, maybe you want to get that one award in that industry that you want to get that one accolade or that one award, that goal is not big enough, right? The mission has to be more than about you. It has to be bigger than you. The truth is when we are walking in things and the truth is if we do things and it's for selfish motive, we're never going to be happy, right? So if my goal is just to be rich, then I'm not going to be happy. I'm not going to feel fulfilled, even if my business is successful, because it's actually a selfish motive. I'm not actually trying to help anyone. The mission is not big enough, right? But when you are walking your God-given calling, it's not going to be just about you. It's not going to be about being rich. It's not going to be about the followers. It's going to be walking in the God-given thing. And you're actually going to care about helping these people. You're actually going to care about the impact that you're making, which is going to really fulfill you in a deep, deep way, right? And so, what another byproduct of that, like I said, is when you are walking your God-given calling and the mission is bigger than you, maybe you started a nonprofit that helps parents. Maybe you went into politics and you're very passionate about helping your base with whatever, or maybe you started a business where you're helping other business owners like grow and scale their business, but you really feel called to this thing. It's really your God-given calling. Then it's going to blossom. It's going to grow, but also it's going to be bigger than you. And you're really going to care about serving these people. You are really with your full heart gonna love helping and serving the people the way that you are serving them, right? And so the mission needs to be bigger than you, right? You can be helping, impacting hundreds and hundreds and thousands of people through the work that you do, and when you're walking in your God-given calling, right? And ultimately, the goal is really to be a light in this world, right? Whether that is something like overtly, like being a preacher, or speaking on the topic of faith, or something like that, or maybe inadvertently, maybe you are called to be an amazing accountant, and you are supposed to be helping these business owners that don't know what to do with their accounting. You're just gonna make their lives so much better. You are going to impact, maybe you're going to impact millions of people through your accounting, right? And it's going to be beautiful. And it's not necessarily preaching, but by your life, you're impacting them, right? You are showing the glory of God, and you're giving glory back to God, and you're being a light in this world, right? So when you are walking your God-given calling, you are going to be a light. You're going to be impacting people. People will be drawn to you. It's just beautiful to watch. So there you have it. Those are 6 signs that you are walking in your God-given calling. I hope this episode was helpful. Please let me know, and I hope to see you next time.